Welcome, welcome. Tuesday night, and so this is going to be fun. So I wanted to do kind of a spring forecast, but a must-haves, but in sewing. Because you see all these must-haves that you have to have, and you think, okay, like, do I have to have them? But our must-have list is a really good list, and yes, you have to have them. Because what I did is I combined everything. I combined the spring forecast, the colors, I put everything together. So hopefully this will be a lot of fun. And hopefully you'll be inspired. That's the goal. I had so much fun. You guys are going to find out all the things I did wrong. I got all the patterns here that I used, so we'll talk about all those. And feel free to ask questions. Okay, so we're going to start off with something that you're supposed to have for spring 2021 is a great dress. Now, great dress leaves, like, that's a lot. That's really a wide category. So you have to define that for yourself. But what I think a great dress is one I have to put on, or once I put it on, I just never think about it again. It looks good, it's comfortable, I don't have to pull, everything's in place, and it just looks great, feels great, it's comfortable. That's to me what I consider a great dress. So having that criteria, I was shopping. I'm in Neiman's, and oh my goodness, like all of a sudden, smack. I take a picture of this, what I think is called a great dress. So we're going to show you this first photo. And this is by Parenza Schouler. Schula, I think it is. Schouler. No, it's Schouler. Parenza Schouler. Whenever I put these up, I forget to write down the prices. So sorry about that, but you can see the prices. They're not cheap. It's $1,000. $1,090, thank you. Okay, so when I looked at this dress, because it was, show the next picture just for me for just a minute, because this was the picture I took in the store, because sometimes what you should know is the things I find in the store, I actually can't find online, and vice versa. So I take a picture now just to be safe, so that if I have to show you this picture, I can. But this picture shows the dress really much better. And that's 4014. That is Shelley's dress. Like, I'm going, wait a minute. First it was like, oh, this is so cute. And then it was like, wait a minute, that's Shelley's dress. Okay. Then I'm backing it up and realizing how simple it is. So I took a gray, this is fabric number, so the pattern is 4014. The fabric is $39.79, and I did the dress. You can do any fabric you want, any stripe. And this pattern, I love it. I've made it enough times to know that when I put it on, I don't have to mess with it. I just love it. I love the dress. So this is my great dress. So I'm going to show you kind of what I did with the pattern pieces, because before we do though, notice the stripe on the skirt. Notice the skirt is full. It's a little bit of an A-line. It's a wrap on the top. I don't know. Now that's why I did the website. So you could actually go to the website and you can look at the details. But you notice the stripes are going, we'll say, I guess as you look at it, left to right. And then on the skirt, they're going right to left. But notice where they're coming in at the hip. It's below the hip and then all the way to the other side of the hem. You just want to kind of notice those details when you're laying it out on your fabric. So if we go to the next picture, what I did is that's the direction of all the pieces and the stripes you want to make them. Now, so I didn't make any changes to the pattern except, I don't know why I say that, because I did make changes to the pattern. So I'm going to retract that statement. The only change I made to the pattern, how's this, is see those 4 pieces at the skirt? The 4 pieces make up the front and 4 pieces make up the back. And I literally overlap them because it's a knit. It doesn't matter what direction they go. They're an A-line, they're full. It doesn't matter for stretch. None of that matters. So literally I overlap the seam allowances and cut them as one. And if you notice the stripe on this dress, and this is the dress, goes from the hip and then it cuts down over to the hem. So that's the angle you want. These all are going this way. Notice this part and this part go the same direction. They're going the same way. I turn it to the back. And when I did the back facing, you literally can't see the back facing because I shadow striped it, meaning I literally laid it on top and the two are going the exact same direction. You don't want the facing underneath to be going a different direction if you can see through your stripe. And you can't see through my stripe, but you can see a little bit of a shadow. So you want to make sure that you can't. And I absolutely just love this dress. Put it on, fell in love with it, did the happy dance, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so that is my great dress. And you obviously can create a great dress, but dresses are really in for spring and summer this year. You know, you want to think about what am I going to wear it with. I can just wear it with flats, tennis shoes, whatever I want to wear with. Tennis shoes are so popular this spring and summer. So I see dresses with tennis shoes all the time. So whatever your feet are comfortable in, and then work it backwards, color-wise, okay? All right, any questions that we have that we want to talk about? What's the name of pattern 4014? It's called Shelley's Dress. The original was a Nick and Zoe. Shelley was named after a friend of mine. Okay. Are we good with that? Okay, then the next one we're going to do is a sheer blouse. So a lot of the blouses we're doing now, they literally are sheer and they're being so where you can see something under them. So this picture is not what I did, but it started the inspiration that I really liked a soft gathered neck, and you may not be able to tell from this photo because this is me and I couldn't find it online. It's a blouson. That bottom is gathered and literally it just hangs loose and it's so flattering. I tried it on just kind of to see what it was. So that was kind of the point that I started with. And I'm going to move Miss Shelley out of the way. And we're going to put her over here so we can see. And sorry, my cords are getting run over. Okay, there we go. Everything's on wheels, just the carpet's not the best. I mean, the carpet prevents it from moving a little bit. Okay, and we're going to show you this. And so this is my sheer blouse. Oh, I just love this. Absolutely love it. So beautiful combination to me of fabric and pattern. Just really fun, very contemporary, very easy, but really pretty. Again, I just wanted it to be that blouson, and I wanted it to be sheer. This one I get on that mannequin, you can't tell it's sheer, but it is. It's completely sheer. And it's a silk. It's very, very pretty. All right, so what I did is I started with pattern number 212 because I wanted it to have gathers. We're seeing a lot of gathers for spring, and so I really wanted it to have gathers, so this is what I started with, 212. And then what I did is I used pattern number, is 4049. This is a Rebecca Taylor. I had the photo of Rebecca Taylor and what she made with it, and I didn't pull it up. But anyway, this is a Rebecca Taylor. It's a silk. It's just beautiful. It's got a little gold lurex thread that just briefly runs through it. And I'm going to show you the next one. Can you all see that there? Yeah, we'll come in on it a little bit. I want to show you the next photo because I want to show you what I did as far as the pattern pieces go. So there's only 3 pattern pieces. I combined them and made them into 2. So typically on this pattern, it has like an elastic at the waist. I didn't want that, and I wanted the waistline to be longer so that it could be blouson. So I put the 2 pieces together and cut them as one, but I didn't need all that length, so I took some off. And then what I did, because I wanted the bottom to be gathered, the top is already gathered. It's already got that beautiful soft gathers across the top. I widened the bottom. You can see my new red line is where I widened it. And what I did is the regular pattern had some gathers in it, but I just measured it. I measured me. I wanted to go with this fabric. I wanted to go 2 to 1 because this up here is 2 to 1. And so I did 2 to 1. So I did 60 inches because roughly my waist is 30. And so I spread it out enough that remember there's 4 of those, and then just curve that line into the bottom of the armhole. So you can see that's the change of the pattern. So number 2 and 3 were cut as one, and you're going to cut On this particular fabric, just FYI, it's not wide enough to put the stripe going vertical, which I really wanted the stripe going vertical. And so I put a seam right at center front and right at center back. You can't see it because literally I cut it on a black line and seamed it with black serger thread. I mean, you literally, I can't even see it staring at it, you know, but it, and then there's no zipper along the top here. I just kept it easy. You want that opening to be about 20 inches. You want to be able to get it over your head. You just slip it over your head. It's a little bit of a boat neck. Absolutely beautiful on. Just so beautiful and so complimentary. And then if you notice the bottom here, I just put a little elastic and did a casing. So I just serged the edge, turned it under, cut my 2-inch elastic just like a 1/4 inch wide, seamed it together, pulled it back in to be 30 inches. So there's like a 2-to-1 gather there across the bottom. That is just beautiful. And on, it's just so flattering, that blouson. It's interesting over fashion years how blouson has gone and come back and gone and come back, and it's back. And it's just really, really flattering to every figure type. I don't care how much tummy you have, how much, whatever you have. It's the appearance that whatever's below it is smaller, and it's a very flattering look. So this was a great way to do it. Very beautiful, soft little kimono sleeve there, full gathers. Beautiful little silk sheer blouse. Now on the mannequin, I didn't put anything underneath it just because I wanted you to see it, but the blouses are being worn like with a tank underneath. Even a long tank hanging out below the blouson, you can do that. Either way, whatever's comfortable for you, but a little black tank or a little colored tank underneath, whatever color you want, would be really, really pretty also. Okay. Anything, we're okay. Questions? We'll answer, we'll take a minute, take a breather and answer some questions. So again, it's pattern number 212, which is Kors zippered top. And then the fabric is 4049. The number of the sheer fabric is 4049. It's a Rebecca Taylor silk. It's got a little lurex thread to it. It's just simply stunning. Really beautiful. It's narrow. So that's why I said, at first I thought, well, I could run the stripes across, but I really wanted the stripes horizontal at the yoke and vertical on the body. So the only way the pattern piece enabled me to do that was to put a seam up center front, which I did. So this took about 3 yards, simply because of the gathers. The gathers really ate up the fabric a little bit. Okay? Just too much fun, and it's very pretty. I mean, it's just really pretty. So I hope you enjoy. Okay, so then, again at Neiman's, checking out, shopping around, and I'm going up and down the escalator because I'm going from one level, you know, the nicer level to the not nice level to the super nice level, all the different levels they have. You have to just leave your credit card in your wallet. The top level is the richest. So I was going up the escalator, and there was a blouse. It was a fuchsia blouse on the mannequin. And the blouse was beautiful. In fact, it was $720, Sherard's blouse. I mean, it was beautiful. And it had this little wrap. And so what's really popular right now, even though this pattern came out last year, is this wrap over the shoulder. You know, this tie neck, and it goes over the shoulder. You know, a little bit dramatic, but not that bad, especially this month. We're pairing things with jeans. So I want you to think, because it's the pattern of the month, I want you to think everything paired with a pair of jeans. A beautiful silk blouse, sheer, paired with jeans, different color jeans. And next time the POM will have jeans, we'll be fitting jeans, we'll do all that. Laura will be back and we'll get her fitted into a pair of jeans and get her all situated, and you guys can follow along with that. But, so I get this fuchsia blouse. So when I'm in Neiman's, it's actually kind of late, and you know, late on a weeknight. There's not a lot of people in the store. It was last week. So I asked the clerk if she knew what blouse was on the mannequin. And it's in the middle of the escalators. There's an escalator going up, escalator going down, and this thing. And nobody from, you know, whatever, the dressing department, whatever you call that. There's no one there that night. So we must have gone up and down the stairs, escalators, probably 10 times. She started it. I followed her. But every time she'd go, she'd try to get the tag out of the neckline, and you only had a couple seconds from by the time you reached it to the time you couldn't reach it anymore because you're going up and down the escalator. But anyway, we figured it out who it was, and here's the blouse. This is Victoria Beckham. Oh, that's your cue. There we go. There's the blouse. It was just absolutely stunning on the mannequin. That tie that goes over the shoulder like that, that's actually a free loose wrap. It looks like it's part of the sleeve here, but it's not. And again, Brett, I'm going to ask you, what's the price on that? It's a little silk blouse, $7.98. So $800, this little silk blouse, but it is just like our little $7.20 Sherrard's. That's thanks to Monica, who's out there shopping all the time. So we did this pattern, I'm sorry, $7.20. Then I used two fabrics, because we had two fabrics that were perfect together, and they're Rebecca Taylor, they're coordinates, and it's 4017 and 4027. So 4017 is the sheer. Okay, and we'll come close in so you can see this. And so it's reversible. And so I used, obviously this one part is turned back, and it's all bias. It's like a check, and I did a bias. And then what happens is it turns around to the back, and then this goes down the back. But it's got a full overlay. You can see where that comes around, and it's a pink, but it's a black and pink. So we'll come in and we'll show it to you until you can see it. So there's the overlay. Now, that's the 4027, and that's the sheer. 4017 is the sheer, sorry. But this is the portion I just did in the blouse. So I only used a yard, and then I used 2 yards of the other. Now, and then you can mix it up however you want. So with the sleeves, I went ahead and did the sheer sleeves. But you wouldn't have to. You could use the non-sheer. So I used the sheer for the collar, and then the overlay and the sleeve. But the cuff, I used the same as the body. Aren't they beautiful? I mean, it's so rare we can find fabrics like this. So 4017 is the sheer, and 4027 is the solid matching silk. Both silk, and just like that little blouse there with that wrap around the neck and the overlay. And of course this wrap, you could let it go down a little bit. It does have this overlay. You could leave the overlay off and just do the collar. You don't have to have the overlay on it at all. You could just do the blouse and then the wrap, and then it would be exactly like that is. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you, because versatile blouses, or kind of these wrap neck blouses, are really stylish for spring, and they're very popular. The pattern was a little bit ahead of its time, but glad we had it out, because now you have it, you've made it. We did it on a sew along, I believe, and you can follow along and kind of do it with the sew along. Pretty sure we did that on the sew along, because people kept saying, oh, it's too hard. No, it's really, really simple. It's very simple to do. There's a little button right here at the neck. You just open it up, and then cuffs at the sleeve, and again, 2 little buttons there, and it's just beautiful. Okay, no changes to the pattern on this. Literally, no changes to the pattern. I didn't make any changes. Okay, are we okay? What pattern again? That's 720. That's Sherrard's blouse. That's Monica Sherrard. Okay. All right, so the next thing we're supposed to have is a casual jacket. So to me, it's perfect to have a casual jacket being our new jacket pattern. So 921, it is called Valentino's Unlined Jacket, because it's unlined. 921, great jacket. All the patterns, with exception of a couple, there's a handful that'll go out tomorrow, but pretty much everything's been shipped. Started last Thursday. Pretty much everything's been shipped. Like I said, there's a few left. They'll go out tomorrow, but by tomorrow, everything will be shipped with the new patterns. Okay, so this is our new little jacket. And I did this little pink corduroy mainly because pink is such a hot color for spring, summer. It's continuing into summer. In fact, we even see it in the fall, a real deepened pink. It's very pretty. And this has a little welt. Great little pocket. I love this corduroy. I think this is a great fabric pattern combination. The sleeves, very cute. You know, this is kind of like a little jean jacket to me. I've said that. I didn't get the buttons, you know, I didn't get it finished. It's not all the way done. So this is 921 is the jacket. The fabric is 4016. It's a cotton corduroy, beautiful fabric. And again, really versatile. Princess seaming so that it looks great. Just make sure all your pattern pieces are going the same way and you'll be in great shape. Easy enough. I love it. This was so fun to do this pocket. I was actually talking on the phone while I was doing this pocket, so I think that was a good thing because I wasn't even thinking about it. I had 2 pockets done in no time, and I was talking on the phone. Okay. Is a jacket supposed to be worn open or closed? I think it's supposed to be worn open, you know, but it is your jacket. You can wear it however you want. But I liken this a little bit to like a jean jacket, to where I wouldn't wear a jean jacket closed personally. Some of you would. But I wouldn't. It's like an accessory to me. And I look at this and I think it's the same thing. It's just a little accessory jacket. But I love the collar, little curved pockets. I just love it. All right, so that's just a casual jacket. The goal is to really be able to throw it on with jeans, throw it on with anything, and yet really look punctual. Corduroy, I haven't really done anything out of corduroy for a long time. But boy, I love that pink corduroy. I just think it's so on trend and so beautiful and yet so classic at the same time. A pink corduroy jacket will last for a long, long time. Okay, let's look at the next picture. All right, so I saw this, and it wasn't the first one I saw with asymmetric ruffles. I had seen quite a bit of them. I had talked about ruffles and asymmetry, how popular both of them are for spring. And I'm seeing a lot of garments. I actually hung that there so I could take a picture of it. It's not the best, you know, I should have dressed a mannequin probably, but you can't do that. So I just wanted you to see that asymmetric ruffle. And while I was doing that, what came to mind was really 197. So I went to 197, which is Candosa's top. And Candosa's top has this beautiful ruffle over. So I kind of started combining things together, and I decided that the sheer look and the spring, the navies, the pinks, all these colors that are going together, this fabric was just a home run to me. It's 4019, and what I did is typically in Candosa's, it's got an overlay, but the overlay is even on both sides. So what I did is I cut it long when I started, and then I made it asymmetric. So you can see that it's longer on this side, and it comes up shorter to equal the sleeve on this side. I left off the bottom band. I did not do the bottom band. And then you can see again, I cut it to where it's asymmetrical going over to this side as well. The fabric is like all these little medallions together. And so there's no finish necessary. All I did was just literally cut around the circles and left them hanging. And I just really, really love it. It's adorable on. Again, with a pair of jeans, I think it would just be terrific. But again, you can see where I just cut the circles the way I wanted. The sleeves, I did the same thing. I ended them with the sleeves. But I think what makes it look so purposeful is I didn't do that to the neckline. I did the neckline just how the pattern suggested. So it's finished. And yet I did this to the rest of it. And the same to the hem. I left the hem and just by cutting and by draping. So this is an overlay. If you're not familiar with 197, it's an overlay like kind of over a long tank. It's really pretty. It's really flattering. I put a belt on underneath this. You don't have to. You could just wear it as is. But that gives you an asymmetric ruffle that is just a really current little trend right now. So that way you get a chance to kind of be right in the thick of things. All right, so we did 197 and the fabric is 4019. Okay. Then we did me. We did 195. And I had talked before about La Pointe, and these little fur cuff things that I've got on are just very, very pricey. Mine are faux. You'd never know it. They just look amazing. I love them. So all you do is cut off the bottom of the sleeve and you do a little scrap piece of fur. If you don't have scrap fur, you'll need a yard. But a yard is great. All kinds of scraps can be made out of it. It's a lot of fun to have a yard of scrap fur. So mine are about 8 inches wide. They go from below my elbow. The fabric that I used on the body is brand new up. It's 41.52. I'm going to show you something with this fabric, you guys, because I absolutely fell in love with it. First off, you should see that it's two-way stretch, which is completely rare on a fabric of this density. But then I'm going to show you what I did is I burned it, because I burn every fabric. And I want you to see that that clean burn right there, that slow, clean burn is cotton. And then it usually has a white flame when you blow it out. But then see that bright afterglow? That's also how you know it's cotton. There's a few, it's cotton and linen. You don't know which one. This is not linen, it's cotton. You have to kind of feel and touch to know the difference. But see how long that afterglow lasts? That cotton continues to burn. After it stops, so you don't burn yourself, you just want to touch it. And there's not one bit of poly in there. Not one single bit of poly. That's impressive. And that says expensive. But, you know, I mean, if I was like in a really inexpensive store, a fabric store, I don't think I'd trust it. But because I know who I'm buying from, I'm just so impressed with the quality of it. And it has all Italian writing on it, so I can't tell. I don't know Italian, I guess. Maybe that's the problem. But anyway, I can't tell the mill it's from. I just know it's 100% cotton, and it's beautiful. So that's 4152. I just put it up. We don't have a lot, but we've got enough. So that's what I made the body of my 195 out of. And I know it's dark and you can't see it. I didn't make any changes. I just added a little bit of length. I added like 4 inches of length because I wanted to wear it with jeans, but I wanted a longer body. And then I put my sleeves at the end. Can you come in on those and just maybe even though they're black, you can see them. This is the vertical fox. It's 4125. And then the fabric is 4125 and 4152. That's interesting how those two numbers are just inverted. Is there any way I could put it that you could see it easier? Tick tock, there we go. But I just love it. And then, you know, if you're not sure how long to make it, you can always make it too long. And then after it's sewn, if it's too long, you don't like it that it's down on your hands, you can just go inside and cut it off. So you remember, you can always make it shorter. Can't make it longer. So if in doubt, make it longer than you want it to be. There's no stretch to it. The bottom doesn't need stretch. Don't try to put it up through your elbow. But this is below my elbow and just has that fuzz. It's just so pretty. I mean, I just love it. I just think it's really pretty. Okay, so then I wanted to show you this next outfit. I did not make it. I just wanted to show it to you. I've actually made something very similar to it in the past, and I've actually worn it. I've actually made it twice because I liked it that much. But this is Brunello Cucinelli, and I don't remember how much this is, but it's staggering. Like, it's really, really expensive. And you know, in the spring and the winter, spring and summer, your most expensive fabric is silk. And 3,500. Okay, for this top. Now, we can find silk all day long. In the fall, when it's cashmere, cashmere is hard to find. You know, it's difficult to find cashmere, but we can get silk all the time. So what this is it's a shirt. I'm going to call it pattern number 600. And the front is just the regular length of 600. And the back is down to the floor. So some time ago, I did the front and back long, and I put slits where I tied the front and I left the back long. But this is literally like where it stops at the side seam with the regular shirt length, and the back just goes all the way to the floor. So I thought I would share it with you and just look at some pictures, and then if you want to look closer at it, you can find this online. So that's kind of all the pictures, and if you go to the next one, I took individual. So what I love about this is just how pretty it is and how graceful. Now at the end of that sleeve, you can like use pattern 600 as a base. At the end of that sleeve, and probably what costs the whole 3,500, is it's all the Monelli beads. It's like a cuff, and it's about 2 inches wide, and it's the Monelli beading. Like you can just use the chain and go all the way around and make it on the cuff. And then of course it's a 3/4 cuff, but it's really beautiful. There they're just showing it open, monochromatic underneath, so you can see the tone on tone. But you can see how that top layer, the one I'm talking about, goes all the way to the back. And I just thought this was so beautiful. So on the mannequin, and of course, it was just really stunning. Very, very pretty. And the next one I showed, just so you can see kind of the look of the back. I mean, I could just see this, I mean, even in a different fabric, casual, like I could see it at an art festival or something, just where you're walking through the place. I love how the shoe is just very casual. And it's a $3,500 outfit that I just casually throw on and wear wherever. I just love it. I love the idea. And there you go. So they showed it closed, they showed it open, and then they showed the back so that you could see that length as well. All right, so that was just an idea for you. I wanted to show you this picture because this is Eileen Fisher. And I don't know if it was a year ago or 2 years. I'm not sure. I probably should have taken the time, and I apologize for not looking it up. But remember we did the whole grade 8. We did the black. Or it doesn't have to be black, but it can be any base color because they mix and match to where then you add your top. I wanted to remind you of this whole concept. Eileen Fisher, she does you can see above the knee, she does at the knee, and then she does below the knee. These are all the same like fabric, same dress almost. So I want you to think about that when you're creating your pieces for the spring. And so like this I could put on with my jeans or my leggings. Create those pieces for you kind of in your mind. Do you have them in your closet? Do you like them? Do they fit? Because those pieces are not hard to create. They're quick and easy to do, and they'll really lend themselves to making all these pieces go a little bit farther. Okay? Okay, so that's the grade 8, and that is Eileen Fisher. All right, so we are on point. That's it, kids. All right, so I left some time. I thought you guys could ask questions, and we can just kind of see where you're at. I know you don't have the new patterns just yet, but any questions, I'm going to leave it to you, and I'm going to give you about 10 minutes. And we might end a little bit early tonight, and that's an okay thing too. Any questions that have come in? No, we're good? Yeah. They hear sound okay?
It's minus too. It's minus.
Oh, is it? Yeah. So my little flip on my pack didn't work? Do you want me to flip it back? We have all these little buttons. We don't know which button is the right button. So we keep switching buttons, and one of these days we'll get it. But we're afraid to switch too many buttons at one time because then we won't know what works. Yeah, exactly. So you have to listen in stereo, no, in mono. All right, you guys got it? No questions? What are you sewing? Tell me what you're sewing. I know Benjamin will have to be our communicator because I can't hear you, but he can hear you. What are you sewing? What are you working on? We got a dress, a sheer blouse, ruffles, everything so soft and feminine. And you know, I'm going to tell you something. I love a blouse. I just don't think there's anything prettier than a blouse. And you know, for a long time, they were gone. Everything was knit. And there wasn't, and I really remember thinking, and I probably said it to you all, are we ever going to have a silk blouse back again? But I guess like everything, it cycles and it changes, and sure enough, we've got our silk blouses back. And I just love them. I just think they're so beautiful and so easy and so carefree. Wash silk. The best thing about making a silk blouse, I've said this for many years, is that whenever you buy a silk blouse, it will say dry clean only. You do not need to dry clean most silks, but just cut your samples, wash one, compare it back, dry it, compare it back, and then that washable silk blouse becomes so low maintenance and just so beautiful. It just becomes a really beautiful part of your wardrobe. Okay, please tell me about your iron in the back. The Rowenta, that's a Rowenta steam tank generator, DG5080. Look it up at Bed Bath & Beyond. They have them, Rowenta. And the tank, it's the purple one. Okay, I love it. It's cheap. I mean, relatively for what it does, it's cheap. It doesn't have water in the iron. The water is in the tank, so it can't spit up and, you know, make a mess of everything. About Lulu leggings, by measuring the tight width at the smallest size, they seem big. Is it supposed to be like this? Go to the smallest size and just make that size, and then just see what happens. Okay. Watch your fabrics, because sometimes they don't stretch as much as you think they're going to. So just make the smallest size and then go from there. It's good to make a muslin kind of anyway. How much fabric for the striped dress? I used 3 yards. How much extra of the gray and white did you use for the first dress? I used an extra yard. I think the pattern calls for 2 for the size I made, and I went for 1 extra yard. Yeah. Please show styles for Florida warmer weather. I did. This is great for Florida. Yes? This is great for Florida. Would you wear a corduroy jacket? See, the thing about Florida, I grew up in Florida. I grew up in Miami. It is warm, but you go inside, and the minute you walk through the doors, you're freezing because the air conditioner is so cold. So I don't think I'd alter anything because everything's air conditioned. Now, if you're warm-blooded, that's a different thing. Then you got to change, but this would be great for Florida. It's light, it's cool. So I think I do. I remember you guys. Regarding bust point and lowering, can you just do it in a small box? A small box, I don't know what that means. Lower it and not involve the length? Well, you can't add length to the bust and not be adding length. I mean, if you have a way to do it, that's fine if it works, as long as it works for you. But it's not that hard to just lower the bust point, cut a line, lower it, and then cut a line below it and raise it back up. Okay. I want to make some sundresses for summer, cool and comfy. What do you suggest? Pattern fabrics. I think 4013 is the best dress going. I think 4015 is the best dress. Those are great, easy dresses. Sundresses, take the tank top and just add length. For one of the new patterns, 321, it's got a little faux cowl, Acris faux cowl. I just added some length onto that and made some really cute little sundress. So just look at some of the tops and add length to them. Don't necessarily look for a dress pattern. The cowl neck makes a great dress. So just by simply adding length, you get a lot of really fun, cute little dresses, and it'll really be nice for summer. Can you recommend a number for the Eileen Fisher dress? Yes, 4009. Sorry, I just had to figure out what you were asking. 4009 is an Eileen Fisher dress. It was the swing dress. It's now Morocco's dress, but that's because we added the overlay. That Morocco's dress is also a great dress for summer. We did it, that was in a store in Miami. So that's where I actually found the dress originally when I duplicated it. So 4009 has like an overlay. Don't necessarily use the overlay, just use the base. And it's just a great pool dress, beach dress, whatever you want dress. I made a 4-way cardi last week in the Italian Holy Navy. I obviously made it too small, so can you please review how you get the measurements correctly for a loose-fitting piece? Just measure loose-fitting pieces that you wear. And don't go by any of the numbers on the back. Go by these are all off the garments. You should be measuring garments, not you. I think as many times as I've said it, for as many years as I've said it, it keeps falling through the cracks. We want to measure our clothing, not ourselves, not our bodies. These are our clothing measurements, not our body measurements. So the best way to duplicate something we like is to find something we like and measure it, and then repeat that. It's just really that simple, okay? I have a beaded double gauze and want to make your 212 as a blouson like you did. Any suggestion cautious for beading? When you get to, and really, it depends on how close the beading is, but when you get to really finely made things, the beading is taken away from the seams and then actually added back on by hand. Now, if that doesn't appeal to you, take it off so you can get it through the needle, and then they put a little ribbon on top, kind of to accent the seam lines. This is a very easy top. You can see there's only 2 pieces. So this would be one that would be very easy to do because you're only talking about this seam. Down here, when you went to do the blouson, you could actually take off the beading when you went to do the seam, and you wouldn't need to put it back on because you couldn't see it. So this would be the only area that you'd have to worry about. And if you use a selvage, because all these pieces are straight, the selvage doesn't have beading all the way to the selvage. It stops short of that selvage a little bit. So it's a great place to put that seam on the selvage, and that way it'll save you a little bit of time and energy. Okay? What if you don't have a clothing item that fits? Well, so the goal of telling you to copy something that fits is to just shorten the process. So think about this. Let's say, for instance, you wanted to bake a loaf of bread, and you know there's Italian bread and sourdough. You know, there's a zillion types of bread. And if I said, well, what kind of bread do you want to make? And you said, well, I don't know. And so, okay, I bake a white loaf of bread. You say, nope, that's not the one I want. Okay, I bake an Italian. Nope, that's not the one I want either. So by finding one you like and then duplicating it, all I'm trying to do is shorten your process. Your process could take you 50 years if you don't find something you like. So that's why I'm a big advocate of shopping, because the more you shop, even though you don't find something you are identical to, at least it gets you closer to the bread type that you like. If I want to make a loaf of bread, I'm going to go to the bread store. I'm going to try a whole bunch. I'm going to learn the different names. And then I'm going to say, hey, I really like this one. Hey, sir, excuse me, what's the name of this bread? And that way I'm getting closer to knowing what I like. And that's all I'm trying to get you to do. I had a conversation with a lady one time, and she said, I got to have a blouse made, and I got to have it made by Sunday. And, you know, I'm talking to her on the phone on Thursday. She wants me to next day air her a pattern, go through all this stuff. She said, I said, what size are you? And she goes, well, I don't know. And I said, well, do you have any blouses? No, I don't have anything I like. Well, how are you going to make something you like if you don't even know what you like? And, you know, she was like really mad at me for like bringing this up. Like, I'm just trying to help you all. So recognize that we need to understand, if you don't have anything you like, I would say back to you, you're not ready to sew. Sewing is duplicating what you like, not creating what you like. Or you're going to spend a lot of time doing it. Okay? I hate to tell you that. Is the hem on the blue lace top cut straight across? Did you cut around the circles? No, I actually, can we come in on this? Can we try to? I actually cut around the circles. I just kind of scalloped around, you know, no certain pattern, no, just, you know, lovely kind of, you know, remember I cut both sides long and then I cut off. See, so I just kind of, yep, perfect. Thank you, sir. Okay, are we good? Where do I find pattern 921? Good, thank you for asking. Go on the front page and go to Spring Patterns. And if you hit those spring patterns, you'll see all 4 of them. And just click on any of them and it goes to the page. We haven't got them up on the regular page yet. We'll get that done. Are we good? We could like get out of jail 15 minutes early. Yeah, on the very front page it says Spring Patterns. Just click there, there's a link. It'll take you to all 4, and click on any of those and it'll take you to the page where it's at. And I know it's one more step than you should have to make. We'll get the page updated here quickly. Okay? Any other questions we can answer for you? It really is spring. Is daylight saving? I think daylight saving is this Sunday. And I know in Texas we're actually having a vote as to whether we want to do away with daylight saving time. And yes, we do. We hate this time change back and forth. So we actually might get to like never switch. Let's say, I think we spring ahead and we fall back. So we never have to fall back again. I think we might actually get to stay. That would be really cool. Because nobody likes it. You know, nobody cares if it's dark in the morning. We sleep till noon, right? What we want is it late at night. Or that's what I want anyway. When making a woven V-neck, I serge the neck edge. I plan on folding under and top stitching. Do you have any tips for the V part? Yeah, you can't do that. It won't be a V-neck. I mean, you know, again, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but when you take a V-neck and you fold it under, there's not enough fabric, it becomes a U-neck. You have to have a center front seam. And you either have to have a front facing or you have to have a little dart. And the dart, if you're adding on a ribbing or a bias, or if you're adding on something, then you have to stitch the V, otherwise it will gap. So you can't do that. It's a lovely idea, but it would have been done out there if it could have been done. So sometimes when you guys are creating ideas, look around and see, has this been done before, or am I the only one who's wanting to do it? That'll help you. Okay, you know, I had a girl a while ago, she asked me to do something. She says, I've never seen anything like this before, and this is what I want to do. And I said, look, I hate to burst your bubble, but possibly if you've never seen it before with clothing, I mean, clothing is pretty tried and true, and a lot of great designers out there. And if you've never seen it before, maybe it's because it's not doable. But just maybe, like, try it. I don't want to stifle your creativity or anything. All right, you guys, so we're going to see you in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, we're going to do the pattern of the month, which is the jean. We're going to fit it. We're going to have fun fabrics. It'll be coming in. We'll be getting the fabrics in next week, so hold off. We've got some great stretch denims for you. And other than that, you know it. Happy sewing. All right, thanks for being here. Bye. See you next time.